All right, welcome into another weekly LNP Lancaster Online Sports Roundtable. I'm John Walk with colleagues Jeff Reinhardt and Mike Gross. On the horn with us this week, we have Warwick senior football lineman, blue chip, I guess recruit. I don't know if he's a recruit anymore now that he's a verbal commit to Wisconsin, Mr. Nolan Rucci. Sitting to his left, I guess our right, as you see it, is his father, Todd Rucci, who is a Warwick football assistant and a Warwick school board member, former NFL lineman, by the way. We thought, it's timely to have them on, given the news, Nolan's verbal commitment to Wisconsin. We wanted to pick his brain, what went into that and what practice has been like and how the season's going to progress here is, I guess, gets underway next Friday. With that said, I guess I'll throw out the mic or Jeff, whoever wants to take a stab at the first question there.
Go, Mike.
I'll go. Okay, Nolan. Guys, welcome. Nolan, you've just been through an experience that 99% of the human population can't relate to, being recruited at the level you were recruited. And even your future college teammates really were not recruited at the level that you have been. So tell us what it's like, what the experience of being recruited at this level is like. Good, bad, indifferent, and also how do you think you're going to remember it? What do you learn from it? How do you think you're going to remember it 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Give us a little sense of what you've just been through.
Yeah, I'd say the awesome, far outweighs the bad. It's definitely been a long process for me. It started, way back in sophomore year. I know, throughout this whole thing, it's been great getting to know, every single coach that's recruited me and, gotten to know me through this entire process. And so, I'm glad that it's finally over and that, that I've made my decision, but I'm definitely thankful that I went through it because there's, looking back, it's definitely, there's not a whole lot of kids that get to go through what, I got to go through. And so I'm definitely thankful for everything.
Todd, you talk a little bit about how the deal has changed since your time, particularly because as an assistant coach, you were involved. You were on the phone with these coaches a lot and you were part of that side of it too. So what's your sense of it, having just sort of, I don't know if you're bewildered a little bit, but it's over now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I think on my end, because of being a football coach and I had the opportunity to talk football with a ton, the Dabo Sweeneys, the Sabins, all of, Paul Chris, James Franklin. So it was awesome. It was great to talk ball and to have them have an interest in Nolan. And so I always looked at it as kind of a learning experience, not, for me, just talking about football and why and what and how and then to hear them talk about Nolan and what they saw in him. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And I'll give it to Nolan. Nolan was awesome through the process. He really managed it well, did not let it get to be stressful in this house. We were very mindful of making sure that we didn't ask all the questions that Nolan was asked when he left this house by the general population. Right. So we just kind of left everything alone. So, honestly, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. We enjoyed it. We're also enjoyed it being over too. I think it ran an organic process.
Nolan, what's last couple of nights? Have you been able to sleep better, my friend? Have you been?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, he's been staying up and thanking people for texting me and everything, and with all the messages I've been getting the past couple of days. So I'm glad I've been people have been reaching out, but yeah, definitely sleeping more soundly, knowing where I'm going for the next 4 years. So I'm excited.
Nice. Todd, how hard was it to separate football guy and dad? Was that easy for you during this process?
Yeah, I think so. Jeff, I do that on a daily basis anyway. Literally when I'm on the field, I'm coaching. I'm ripping Nolan just like the right guard, and when he's out there, he's the left guard. And whether he's my son, I don't care. But when I get off that field, he's my son, and he's no longer the left tackle. So I've always played that role with both boys, and that really wasn't an issue throughout this process. Just because I think I just had so much practice with it over the last couple of years, not only with Nolan but with Hayden.
Nolan, I know you've talked about a bunch the last couple of days, but for those unfamiliar, can you just kind of, in a nutshell, walk us through why Wisconsin's the right fit for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that I think went into it. Obviously having my older brother there is huge. There's not too many kids that get the opportunity to play with their brother, in high school and then again at the Division I level. And so I think that was a pretty exciting idea. And then obviously, the offensive line play at Wisconsin is, unmatched basically with the guys they've been putting out into the NFL. And just the guys that they have there now. I think it's super impressive just to see how well Coach Rudolph developed his guys. And so I'm excited to get there and be a part of that.
And you ultimately want to go there and study aerospace engineering. Do you have any idea beyond that? Like, what's your dream job? Do you want to be an astronaut?
No, obviously, I think I'm a little too big to fit on the.
I was gonna be my next question.
Maybe being in that command room would be awesome. Being a part of a project where they're sending people to the moon or the Mars. And hopefully by the time I'm out of college, that may be a thing. So, being part of something big like that would be awesome.
Nolan, a lot of the school, this is just a sort of process thing that's interesting to me. A lot of the schools that recruited you don't have that specific major that you want. So what were they going to, like Clemson, for example, what were they going to do to sort of create something to meet your needs academically? How was that going to work?
I think one of the things with aerospace is that, you can be in, that industry and still, maybe not it's aerospace per se on your degree, but I think there's a lot of different, things that go into aerospace. There's a whole lot of electrical engineering, a whole lot of mechanical. And so there's a whole lot of different options and routes you can go in order to get into an industry like that. And so, it wouldn't be, that all those schools have, have those degrees. So, it's not too hard of a choice.
I got you. Ryan's go.
Nolan, just, talk about expectations for this season. I mean, it's going to be a weird season, 7 games, truncated, obviously, but you guys are going to have a lot of bullseyes, have 2 D1 recruits here on your roster. The season's kind of more of a sprint now instead of a marathon, but you guys got to like what you have coming back. So how do you kind of stay focused day to day, week to week, and keep your eye on the prize? How's that going to work for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from last season, I think we have the idea that we know we can go far, especially with, the returning talent this year, and the guys coming up too, who are, developing into some great players. And so I think, the outlook is that we're going to go really far. I think the expectations that we're going to win, every single game during the season and, have a good run because, there's only 4 teams that make it in the playoffs now. So you can't give any away in the regular season. So, that's the plan. And, we hope to execute and get to the state championship.
The one thing I forgot to ask you the other day, any chance you graduate early in January? Has that been brought up with Wisconsin? Have they talked about that at all? Do you know what your plans will be moving forward?
I'd consider it for a while, but it honestly, it kind of required me to do a lot more, on the academic piece, doing a lot more online classes and kind of rushing things in. And honestly, I'm enjoying my high school experience with the guys I'm with right now on the football team and, in the school. And so I'm excited just to, finish out my senior year and get to Wisconsin afterwards.
Okay. So you will in all likelihood be in Lidditz into June.
Yeah.
Graduate and all that. Cool.
That's what your brother did too, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Back on the field, as far as it's a different feeling this year. Obviously, you're starting late. There's all these safety precautions that you guys have to take. I want to ask Todd that in a second. But as far as Nolan, how are you approaching that as a player? How is it any different than it was last year?
Yeah, there's a lot of differences, obviously. Having to wear a mask in school and then go right on the football field with it. I think one of the cool things, just how great the guys have been, following protocols and making sure that, we're doing everything we can so we can play on Friday nights. Because, at the end of the day, it comes down to us and the decisions we make both, on and off the field, to make sure we're staying healthy and staying eligible for a season. So, It is, weird having to do all these things and, all the protocols and stuff, but I think all the guys know, what has to be done, and, they're doing the right things to make sure we can play.
And Todd, you as an assistant coach, how is that impacting you guys? You wearing masks? Do you have to sanitize balls? And I'm curious too, as far as watching film, how are you going to approach that since there's all those limitations on the number of people indoors?
Yeah, it is. And every day it just brings up another hurdle. Something you didn't think about. Like today, we had a little bit of rain, so we had to start inside the gym. Well, we couldn't put the whole team in the gym. So then we're taking 25 on half the gym, and the other 25, how are we going to run a Thursday practice inside a gym? Because you're going to have 25. And all these things we're just, we're building it in flight. We're trying to figure it out. But when we're on that field and the kids don't have masks on and we are running practice, the only thing that is different is the coaches, and we have a mask, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. The world is perfect when we're playing football, when we're practicing football. And if we have to wear a stinking mask, then so be it, and we'll do it. So as much, things are foreign and we're doing different things, it's kind of like a football game. It doesn't go as planned. You're always trying to make adjustments, and it is what it is, and we're going to do the best we can with what we have. And, as long as there are kids, as long as these guys get an opportunity to play football and compete for as long as they can, that's the goal. Just to get them out there and be together and have the rest of the student body be involved in some way. But I don't care if I have to wear clown shoes to coach. I will be doing that just so these guys can play.
Todd, I'm curious, when you finished up your career and you got married and you're with Stacy and you start a family, did you picture this at all? We're going to have 2 sons and we're going to produce 2 D1 athletes, and they're both going to land at, oh my gosh, at Wisconsin and get scholarships and be football players. I mean, that's dream stuff, that you talk about when you get married. How cool has this been for you? And is this how you kind of planned it out? Maybe
we have planned. Literally, we haven't planned any of this. I think it's just been awesome. Every day is, we're just really glad we have 2 boys that are just really great human beings, and they really are. They're just good people. They take things serious. They're thoughtful. The cool thing is they have some genetics behind them, and they enjoy the game of football. So I think that's all been a bonus. But we don't have a plan for this. You just kind of ride it, and we're just with all your kids. Are they healthy? Do they have good friends? Are they good people? And after that, it's just been all gravy. So we've just been thrilled, and it has not even hit us yet. I think once Nolan goes off to playing college, I think we will sit back and maybe crack a drink and just realize and breathe about what has actually just happened over the past 18 years.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. Guys, as you may know, I cover Penn State football, and when I sat down here at the computer tonight, I had an email from a Penn State fan saying, I can't believe Rucci we didn't get him, and I'm sure you're hearing some of that, and some of that gets really ugly and pathetic, and I haven't seen any, just my general perusal of social media. I have not seen that in your case. Have you guys seen that? And or Nolan, are you even hearing from your friends like, oh, it would have been cool if you, not in a mean way, but it would have been cool to see you play for the sort of hometown team. What's that been like?
Yeah, we try not to, honestly, I try not to read too much into that stuff or live there, but just reading some of the articles, and if you scroll through some of the comments, Penn State people have been awesome.
Oh, good.
It really hasn't. There was a time where I thought it might get ugly, and if he did choose Wisconsin, but the reasons he chose Wisconsin are completely pure for what is right for him. And that's what it was always about, and that's how we made sure that he dictated his process along that path. It's got to be right for him. So I've been really impressed with Penn State. Look, we love Penn State. Stacy and I talk about this all the time. We are the hugest fans. We have our friends that live there year round. We're up there year round. We always will be Penn State. We are Penn State, Stacy and I. But these guys are going to do their own deal, and whatever that was and wherever they chose, we're all in there too. We're glad as heck that it's it's one spot, and it's Wisconsin. To be able to see both of them play, but I think it's a perfect fit for both of them, and we're just glad it's within driving distance.
I wanted to ask you guys about it. It almost seems to me, this is a completely off the different topic. It almost seems to me that Joey McCracken is off the radar a little bit for a guy who was kind of all state. And what have you seen him go through to get back from his injury? And also, what do you think we're going to see from him on the field? I mean, here's a guy who big talent, right? Nolan.
Obviously, Joey's been making an awesome recovery from, back in winter when he had that injury. And I know, the kind of work he's been putting in the off season, just to, get to where he's at today has been, astronomical. And I'm, super proud of, him just for, just seeing how much he's, committed to coming back this season and, having a great time. So I know, I know how much it means to him, and I know how much it means to the team, how much work he's put in. And I'm excited to see how he plays this year, because I know he'll have a great season and, show his stuff out in the field.
Yeah. So I think Joey's going to be a cool story. I mean, Joey's got a lot of talent. He is, for as good as he was last year, he's better. I just think he's got to get out there and play and,
right.
Get through the mental part of the recovery and get out there. But I'm so excited for him to be able to, he's put up with a lot and been through a lot, just like everyone else. But I know he's excited to get out there when it's right, and that'll be dictated by the doctors when he's ready to go. But he's pretty darn close, and I'm thrilled. And you know what, Jack Reed, our little quarterback sophomore, is pretty darn good too. He's going to do fine. So we're just excited for these guys to play.
Just want to point out that Nolan once again used the word astronomical a minute ago. All right, I'm done. I'm out.
Well, hey, Nolan, I guess I'm just, I don't know. I guess I'm just curious. Put a bow on this whole thing. I mean, you've said a couple of times now, I still can't even believe it. And again, just this experience and everything. Was it harder than you thought it was going to be? Was it easier than you thought it was going to be? And what was that pressure like, especially having a brother who's D1 and a father who played in the league? Did you ever feel that at all growing up?
Yeah, obviously there's that pressure there. And I think, on top of that was, we kind of had our whole, spring season as far as visits planned out. And so we kind of had this schedule that we were going to have, take all my officials, take all my unofficial visits, and kind of get the decision out of the way by hopefully the end of June. And that was kind of all, uprooted and thrown down the road a little bit. And so, it was hard. It was playing a little bit of cat and mouse with the NCAA for a little bit with all the dead period extensions and stuff like that. And so, it was extended to a certain extent, more than I wanted it to be. And so it was a little difficult in that you weren't able to take those visits and get on campus and see the schools and, get in the locker rooms, see the players, get to meet the coaches and everything like that. And, thankfully, kind of when I, came down to my decision, most of the schools I was, heavily considering I'd been to, I'd seen the players, got to meet the coaches and everything like that. And so, at the end of the day, I'm super, glad for my experience. And I think, it wasn't a normal experience, recruiting experience. And, hopefully it'll be, different for kids in years future, but, it's been a cool one. I'm appreciative of it.
Well, hey guys, lastly from me, I think you're probably already been told this, but I think you've handled things the right way, at least in my eyes. And we appreciate the fact that you guys have been humble enough to keep us little newspaper folks in the loop as far as what the next steps are, when you're going to make the decision, where you're going to do it at. And, being humble enough even afterwards to come on here and chat with us, it means a lot. And I think I think it says a lot about you guys as a family. So I appreciate that. And best of luck to the start of the season. We'll see you on the field soon.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
it. Good stuff.
Before you guys go, I just want to make sure that three of you, we appreciate all that you do for our local sports, because I have a lot of friends, former players that have kids playing, and the coverage that you give our local athletes and all that you do is is awesome, and more so than a lot of places. So you guys are fantastic. I just want to thank you from a coach, from a parent, because you cover our athletes everywhere, and that doesn't happen everywhere. So I'm literally, I really appreciate all that you do for this community.
It's been a joy to cover your kids. You got a couple good kids there to cover. They've been fun, so be proud.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Be good.
Peace out.